Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And today I'm talking about an article that I read on the sun.co.uk that has left me with a great many questions. I think I have some answers, but my answers could be wrong, so really I'm just going to state these as questions. I'm not going to presume that I know what's going on. The article is called "The Spurglers. I was desperate for a baby, so I spurgled a man and tricked him into getting me pregnant." Now, I'm going to put a screenshot of this headline so you can see the way they wrote this. The Spurglers, the word Spurglers is in all capitals and it's pink. It's bright pink. The rest is in black text. So aside from it being a made up and cutesy pie word, they've made it more cutesy pie by making it pink. And the article is about the apparently rising trend of women lying or using deception to trick people into having sex, and the deception being that they're using birth control of some kind when in fact they're not. It's a trick. Oopsie, I got pregnant, haha, and then they ghost the guy, and they aside from tricking somebody into having sex on the false pretense of using protection, then they also ghost him, and they remove from the guy the basic right of reproductive self-determination. You don't get to choose, do I want to reproduce, do I want to not reproduce? That basic right of self-determination is stolen by this trick. So my first question is, and I don't have an answer, my first question is, do the authors of this article and the editors and the publishers recognize that what they're talking about in the UK, because this is a UK newspaper, is typically called rape? Now, the common term is stealthing, right? When you use a guy who pretends he's going to use a condom and then he doesn't, that's called stealthing. And if you do that, it's rape in the UK and many other places, and you go to jail. In fact, here's an article written also this year, also in the UK, on the independent.co.uk, the first paragraph of which reads, "A man who removed his condom during intercourse that was initially consensual has been jailed for 12 years after he was found guilty of raping her." Well, they're talking about the exact same thing. I mean, the mechanics are different because men and women have different biology, but other than that, it's exactly the same crime. I mean, it's a crime, right? And there's many other problems. There's many other questions in this article. I don't know the answer. Do they recognize that what they're talking about is rape? There's some hints that they do. The subtext, the subheading of the article is, "The desire to have a baby can make some women resort to drastic measures." The word drastic is a hint. Coloring outside, they know there's something hinky going on. They use the word drastic. And of course they interviewed a couple of people, one of whom is pictured here. This woman, you can see that she is smirking. They call her Admin Assistant Victoria Beckett, age 29, was desperate to be a young mum, so spurgled. Now she is the loving mum to a daughter and has no regrets. No regrets. Look, there's a smirking bandit, isn't it? And under her picture, they describe her as Victoria Beckett knew she wanted to be a young mum, but wasn't in a committed relationship, so she decided to take drastic measures. Again, the word drastic. So we're seeing that this is outside the bounds of normal behavior. Although, maybe what we're seeing in this article is the normalizing of this behavior. There's another picture of her, she, or someone like her. She admits that what she did wasn't, quote, morally right, but she had no choice. Oh, there's the removal of responsibility. She had no choice. Yeah, she didn't have the choice to not rape somebody. And I'm going to say that this is rape. I mean, by the definition of the UK where this happened, where it's written, this is rape. A man who did this is in jail for 12 years. I mean, it's in the paper. It's in the headline. Here she is again. She's pretty good looking, but again, smirking. This is a smirking criminal who got away with committing rape and is in fact being celebrated. Now, when I say celebrated, remember that they created this cutesy pie term, spurgled. In the headline, they made it in bright pink. And if you go to the actual address, the web address on the sun.co.uk website, it's thesun.co.uk/fabulous. This isn't just cutesy, it's fabulous. /9716145/spurglers-women-baby-hoodwinked-pregnant. I'm left with so many questions. And mostly they are questions about the intentions of this article. Obviously, the first question is, do the authors recognize that what they're talking about is rape? They're actually justifying what, in other circumstances, the same thing is rape. But it's worse than rape, actually. It's rape plus the hijacking of somebody's reproductive self-determination. Now, we talk about reproductive rights all the time. Women are always claiming to want to have reproductive rights and that the reproductive rights are being threatened. That term is a problem term because it hides what you're actually talking about. Reproductive rights. Well, what rights? Let's articulate them. Well, I'm going to say reproductive rights are your right to reproductive self-determination, which means your right to reproduce or your right to choose to not reproduce. Those are your two basic reproductive rights. When you just encompass it with that broader term, reproductive rights, you're hiding what you're actually talking about. You're talking about reproductive self-determination, your right to choose to either reproduce or not. Now, that doesn't mean you get to enforce your reproduction on somebody else. It means that when it comes to the act of making a baby, you get to choose whether to participate or not. And what these spurglers are doing is hijacking, stealing, taking away that basic fundamental right of self-ownership from the guy that they lie to trick into having sex, which means, again, rape, right? But there's more questions. The deeper questions about the intentions of this article. And, I'm going to suggest some possible intentions, but I'm not trying to give you the answers. I'm not trying to say I'm right. This is just what it seems like to me. Maybe what's being said there is we should read this article as a signal that rape should not be seen as a serious matter, and if we recategorize it with some cutesy-sounding term, it becomes fun and empowering rather than a vicious and predatory crime. Maybe that's what they're trying to push. Maybe what's being said is in spite of the mainstream public common rhetoric about human rights and consent and so on, that there is in fact a profound double standard that we all quietly understand, and that's that only women have the right to self-ownership and the right to not be assaulted or robbed and raped and so on. Is that what we should take away from this? But also that we should publicly pretend that basic human rights extend to men and women, pretend that, but also realize that it's an agreed-on lie. I'm not asking these questions sarcastically. I'm not asking as a slippery way of telling you the answer. I have an idea, of course, but obviously I could be wrong. What is the article saying? Maybe the article is a demonstration of naked power. Dear men, what they're saying. Dear men, we women own you so completely that we will brag in the media about committing the same crimes that you will be jailed for and unpersoned if you're merely accused of. Maybe that's what it's saying. It's a taunt, possibly. But maybe it's not a taunt. Maybe it's only a statement of understanding. Maybe what they're saying, inadvertently, is that the authors of the article actually and truly do not recognize that men are humans to be understood as having self-ownership. Men are actually just furniture and appliances to be made use of. And that understanding is not cynical. It's not stated maliciously. It's just the actual level of comprehension of the authors, the editors, and publishers. After all, that does seem to be what modern feminist and social justice ideology indoctrinates into its followers. Anyway, those are some of my questions. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, before I wrap this up, quite a few people have told me that despite having subscribed to my channel, YouTube has quietly unsubscribed them. So if you like seeing my content, make sure you're still subscribed and click the bell icon for notifications. If you'd rather not give YouTube your traffic because they have the appearance of being deceptive and censorious weasels, just an opinion, I also have a BitChute channel where I upload these videos as well. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.